Hello there and welcome to another Minecraft Bedrock and Java tutorial. My name is Ra and today I'm showing you how to build a stackable automatic sugarcane farm. This is a very easy build and you can stack this to get mega farms like the one behind me here. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions or questions after watching this video. And also leave a like, subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up to date with my videos. In this video I've also included a chapter to make an automatic farm without the observers and a chapter on how to build a minecart unloading station. You can find all the chapters in the description, and that all being said, let's get started with the tutorial. I've built up one stackable unit here to show you how it works. We just have one observer, one piston, a dirt block and a hopper minecart here. Now normally the sugarcane is already planted and it will grow itself, but to show you how this works I am placing the sugarcane and using bone meal. We plant the sugarcane on the dirt block and if we bone meal this, the sugarcane will grow. Once the sugarcane reaches a length of 3, the observer detects the change and fires up the piston. The piston breaks the sugarcane from the second block up and the 2 pieces of sugarcane land on the dirt. We have a minecart with hopper riding underneath the dirt that picks up all fallen sugarcane. This unit is completely stackable and you can stack as many as you want. And stackable means that you can put them next to each other and on top of each other. Here is an example on how this unit is stacked 43 wide and 3 high. And to finish how the farm works, here is some footage of the stacked farm at work. For this example I've cranked up the game tick speed to 500, so normally the sugarcane does not grow this fast. Alright, as said before, this farm can be stacked to pretty much whatever size you want. For this tutorial we're going to make a farm of 10 units wide and 2 high. And that is between these 2 diamond blocks here. We are going to start by placing one layer of blocks from any block you want. They don't need to be solid blocks. Then we place powered rails on top of that and place a lever to power the rails. You can also use normal rails for this, as long as you have enough powered rails in between to power the minecart. Place a layer of dirt on top of the rails so you get one block in between like this. Then at the back we need a block here that is 1 back and 1 block higher than the ground. This is the block where the water will sit, otherwise the sugarcane cannot be planted. Surround this with blocks like this and place the water right here. Make sure that you create water source blocks so no flowing water anywhere. We now need to go 1 block above the water and place blocks from side to side. On top of this we need to place the pistons facing forward. And on top of that we need the observers facing that way, so we need to place them from the back. Now place solid blocks against the pistons on the back, and these need to be solid blocks, otherwise the redstone won't work. Then place redstone dust on top of those blocks and you can see that the redstone connects to the observers. So when this observer detects change, it will make a redstone signal firing the pistons. We can now build up the sides, which need to be as high as the observers. Now place all the sugarcane on the dirt and close the whole thing with the glass. And to finish this layer, place the minecart on the tracks so it can pick up any fallen sugarcane. To stack the farm upwards, we need to do the same as we did for the bottom layer. I'm going to speed this up because it is the same process as the bottom layer. Start with the blocks here, so this will close off the bottom layer, and then repeat all the steps as shown before. To completely finish the farm, you need to let the minecart unload at a station that is connected to a chest or a sorting system. Here is an example on how the minecarts unload at the station, which in turn stores all the sugarcane in these chests. So we can simply put in a hopper at the end of the line so the minecart empties with each passing over the hopper. This however only takes out 2 items at a time, and if you have a massive farm the minecart will be full in no time at all. To prevent that we can put in an unloading station which holds the minecart until it is completely empty. We need to start by picking an area for the station to be at. The station will be about 4 blocks long and 2 blocks wide. For this example we are using this farm here and we want the station at the back of the farm here. The minecart will be unloading right here, so we are starting here with a chest on the side. This also can be a dropper, but I will get into that at the end of this chapter. Place a hopper into the chest and place 1 powered rails on top of the hopper. Place a solid block at the height of the rails at the back. This is the place where the minecart will stop and unload, but we also need to get it on its way again. We want to power these rails as soon as the minecart is empty. To do that we need a comparator here on the side. We want the comparator to go into a solid block here, and at the other side of that block we need a redstone torch. Place a solid block on top of the redstone torch and then a repeater on 1 tick on this block here. We need the solid block after the repeater and you can see that the rails is now powered. We are not completely done with the station, but let me explain exactly how this works first. For that I need to remove this chest real quick and put a minecart on the rails. Okay, so the comparator gives a signal when the hopper is full and turns off when it is empty. At the moment there is nothing in the hopper, so the comparator is off. The redstone torch is now on and delivers a signal through the repeater into this block and that powers the rails. So in the current state it means that the minecart comes and goes without being stopped. As soon as we put an item in the hopper, the comparator turns on because it detects that there is something in the hopper. This in turn switches the redstone torch off, so there is no power going to the rails. Meaning that as long as there is anything in the hopper, the minecart needs to stay and keep unloading. As soon as the hopper is empty, the rails will be powered again and the minecart can go on its way. And that is how this system works. So the last thing we need to do is to place a detector rail a few blocks before the station. This rail will tell the station that a minecart is coming and that will make sure that the minecart is stopped to unload. If we do not do this, the minecart will briefly stop and not unload completely, defeating the purpose of the station. I suggest that you place the detector rails 5 blocks before the station, because we then can use a repeater on 2 ticks. Place a repeater on 2 ticks out of the block underneath the detector rails. And then connect that with redstone dust to the bottom block of the station here. We can now see the whole thing in action. Here's a minecart that has half a stack of items in it. Power the rails and there it goes. When it goes over the detector rail, you can see that the rails at the station turn off. The minecart now stops and unloads all the items into the hopper. As soon as the hopper is empty, the train is on its way again. Now you probably want to connect the station to your storage system or perhaps a mega smelter. Then the chest here is useless. I'm not going into the details of the system, but here is an example on how you can connect the station to a dropper. That in turn is connected to a bubble fader, which transports the items to a storage silo. There are pretty much endless possibilities on how you can connect all this stuff. And that is all for the minecart unloading system. This farm is designed to be used with observers, as that is the most efficient way. You might however not have the resources for this or simply do not want to use observers. As shown here, we can simplify the build by removing the observers and replacing them with a redstone clock. This will fire the pistons at the time that is preset by us. With this redstone clock we can choose to fire the pistons between 1 second and 4 minutes. In this example I have the clock set at about a 2-minute interval. The build of the farm is the same to what is shown before, we just place solid blocks here instead of observers. So to build this redstone clock we need to do the following. Place a temporary block here and place a hopper into that block. Remove the temporary block and place a hopper into the other hopper, so both hoppers face each other. Place a comparator on both sides to the outside and a solid block behind that. We continue on the left side of the clock with a redstone torch on the side here. Then a repeater on 1 tick facing this way and a solid block behind that. On the other side of that block we need to place a redstone torch. Now a repeater on 1 tick facing back and a solid block behind that. A redstone torch on this side of that solid block and a repeater on 1 tick into this block. Place a repeater on 1 tick into this block and place 2 redstone dust here. And when we place this redstone torch, the circuit of the clock is complete. We now need to connect the clock to the pistons. Place a solid block on a redstone torch at either side of the clock. Then a redstone torch on top and a solid block on top of that. place a redstone torch at the front of the block and a solid block on top of that. And one redstone dust on top of that connects the two together. The pistons now stay extended, but that is because the clock is still off. We now need to place the blocks in the hopper to activate the clock. And to fill the clock we need to place the blocks in the left hopper. Do not place them in the right hopper to start the clock, otherwise the clock will not work. You can use any block that is stackable to 64 blocks. I'm using renamed blocks here, but that is not necessary. Any block that can stack to 64 will work. To get around a 2-minute interval, place 2.5 stacks in the hopper. The more blocks you put in, the longer the interval takes, so you can set the interval to whatever time you need. All the blocks will start flowing from one to the other hopper. And when this hopper is empty, the clock will give a pulse and fire the pistons to knock off any sugarcane higher than 1. After that the blocks drain to the other hopper, and this will keep going on until you remove the blocks from the clock. And that is it for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions or questions, then leave a comment below, and also leave a like, subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up to date with my videos. Have a great day, stay safe and see you next time. Bye bye.